All right, so in the last video we did our buttons here, these action buttons with all the modals. Now here we want to have basically like a table of the latest posts. So that's what we're going to start with. So let's go to VS Code. Make sure you go above the modals. Well, I mean, you don't have to. You can put this modal markup wherever you want. I just prefer to keep all modals below the rest of the markup. So I'm going to go right below the actions. And let's say posts. So we'll have a section here with the ID of posts, and inside here we'll have a container. And what we're going to do is have a 9-column div. So we'll have a 9-column, and then we're going to have a 3-column. So we're calling it post, but it's actually going to be the whole area that has the post table as well as the boxes on the side. I mean, I guess you could call it something different, but I think it's fine. So let's put our row, and then let's do our call-md9. And just so I don't forget, right under it, let's do our call-md3. Okay, so inside the 9-column div, we're gonna have a table, but we're gonna put it inside of a card. So let's put a class of card, and it's gonna have a header. So we're gonna say card header, and it's gonna be an H4, and we'll say latest posts. Okay, and then underneath the card header div is where we're gonna put our table, and we're gonna give this a class of table and a class of table striped. Okay, I wanted to have that striped effect. So here we'll have the table head. So let's do T head, and I want the table head to have a dark background, so we can use T head dash dark here. And then let's do our table row for the headings, and then each one will have a TH. Okay, so this will be the ID. I'm just going to put a number sign. Let's do, let's see, what do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So I'm just going to do times 4. And this one will be the title of the post. This one will be the category. This one will be, we'll say date posted, or let's just do date. And then the last one I'm going to leave blank because that'll be the details button. Okay, so now let's go under the T head and let's add T body. And we'll do our first row here. And let's do our columns. Now, table columns have a TD tag. So let's do ID 1. Okay, I'll do TD. Let's do times 4. So the next one is the title. So I'm just going to say post 1. I'm not going to get too technical here. So post 1. Category, we'll just say web development. And then the date, I'm just going to do July. Actually, let's do May 10th, 2018. And then in this TD, what we want is our details button. So it's going to be a link with the class of BTN and BTN secondary. Okay, so they're going to be gray buttons. And it's going to go to a page called details.html, which we will create. And inside the link, we're going to have an icon. So it's going to be FAS and FA dash angle dash double dash right. Okay, so it's going to be a double arrow, and we'll say details. So let's actually save this and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's what it should look like for now. All right, so let's go back, and we want a bunch of other posts here, obviously. So let's actually just copy this TR inside the T body. So we'll do 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we'll have 5 different posts. Actually, let's do 6. So we'll do one more. 6. And then I'm just going to change the content a little bit. So we have the first one here. Then we have the second one. So ID 2, post 2. And as far as the category, let's say tech gadgets. We'll change the date to the next day. Details, that can stay the same. This one will be 3, so post 3. And for a category, we'll just leave web development. We'll say the 13th. This one will be 4, so post 4. And let's see, post 4, we'll give it the business category. We'll say May 15th. And then what's this? This is going to be 5. So we'll say post 5. And we'll keep that as web development. We'll say 17th. And then this last one will be 6. So post 6. And let's give this one the health and wellness. And we'll say May 20th for that. All right, so let's save that. And there we go. So there's our card with our table inside of it. We have our little details here. But wait a minute, the details doesn't look right. Why is that? That's because I did dash here. This should be separate, obviously. So let's get rid of that dash. Okay, so we'll save. And now we have our gray details buttons. All right, so on the other side here, we want to have some boxes that say like posts. We'll have a post, an icon, and then the number of posts, and then a link to the post page, or to the post page. Then we'll do categories and users as well. So let's go to our 3 column that we did below. So right here. And let's do 4. Let's see, we're going to do, what are we going to do here? Actually, no, we're not going to do any grid because they're going to be on top of each other. So let's just do a card. And let's do text center. I want everything in the center. I'm going to do BG primary because this is for post, so it's going to be blue. And then text dash white, and then let's put some margin on the bottom to move the next one down. So inside here we're just going to have a card body, okay, no header or anything. We're going to have an H3, and we're going to just say posts, and underneath the H3 let's put an H1. Actually, you know what we should do is probably do in H4 with the class of H1, because just semantically I don't think it's a good idea to just have multiple H1s. So with Bootstrap we can make it look like an H1. Actually, you know what, we don't even need to do that because I'm going to use a display class. So we're going to say display dash 4. Forgot about that. And then we'll have an icon, so we'll do FAS, and let's do FA dash pencil. And then just a fictional number of how many posts, and we have 6. Whoops, 6. So outside of that H4, let's put a link. We'll format it as a button, and we'll do button outline. Let's do outline light, and I want it to be a small button, so btn-sm. And then we'll just have this go to posts.html, and for the text it's just going to say view. All right, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so that's what it should look like. Well, no, it's not, because the icon is not showing for some reason, and that's because this is no longer FA Pencil. That's Font Awesome 4. It's now Pencil Alt. So now it should show. There we go. So we have 6 posts. Okay, so now let's do the categories. So what I'll do is copy the entire card that we just created. So that div to that div, and we'll paste this in 2 more times. This one's going to be for categories, so I'm going to change the color to success. We'll change the heading. And let's change the icon. It's going to be FA folder. And we'll say we have 4 categories. And then for the button, that can be the same. We just want to change the link to categories HTML. Now for the users, let's change the color to warning, which by default is yellow. Of course, you can change that with Sass. And in here, the H3 will say users. Let's change the icon to FA-users, and we'll say we have 4 users. Okay, and then we'll have the link go to users.html. So let's save that and take a look, and that's what it should look like. So now the only thing left to do on the dashboard is the footer, which is pretty simple. So we're going to go and add that down here under this section. So we'll say footer, and we'll use the HTML5 footer tag. Let's give it an ID of main footer, and let's give it a class of BG dark. I want it to have a dark background and text white, and let's do a margin top 5 just to kind of push everything above it up, and let's also do a padding 5 to add spacing inside. Then we want a container with a row, and we're just going to do a single column here, and let's put a paragraph with the class of lead, and I also want everything to be centered, so I'm going to say text center, and inside here we're just going to have our fake copyright, so we'll say ampersand copy, and remember we want to use the dynamic date, so I'm going to put a span with the ID of year, which will add the current year through the JavaScript we did in the bottom. And then I just want to put the name of the theme, which is blogging. And let's save that and take a look. And there we go. So there's our footer. So pretty simple dashboard, but we have a lot of other pages to get to. So let's move on and let's do the resource pages, which is like the posts, categories, users, which will basically just be like tables of resources. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.